Let's talk about something you've probably got in your fridge right now, the good old green bean. You think you know it, right? Garden staple, dinner plate regular, but what if I told you there are two totally different worlds revolving around this one little bean? One is all about your dinner tonight, and the other, well, that one's about the future of food for everyone. I mean, for a lot of us, this right here is summer. You step out into the garden, you hear that little snap when you pick a fresh green bean, it's just the best. And they're famous for being one of the easiest things you can possibly grow, right? You just pop a seed in the ground, give it some water, and boom, before you know it, you're harvesting.
Yeah, it seems super simple. But what if I told you that for a whole group of people, growing just one bean is this incredibly high-stakes, super precise mission? Like the future of our entire food supply could be on the line. It all comes down to why you're growing that bean in the first place.
All right, so first up, let's stick to what we know, the backyard garden. For the home gardener, the goal is pretty simple, right? You just want a tasty, fresh harvest for the dinner table.
So the very first decision you got to make is bush beans or pole beans. It's a classic trade-off. Bush beans, they're great because they're compact, perfect for smaller spots, but they kind of give you all their beans in one big burst. Then you've got pole beans. Now these guys are climbers. They need a trellis, and they can shoot up 10, even 15 feet. The payoff, though, is that they just keep on giving you beans for a much longer time.
And the planting part, it's pretty much the same for everyone. You've got to wait till that last frost is gone and the soil warms up a bit. Pop the seeds in about an inch deep, keep them watered, and then you wait. In about 2 months, bam, you're picking fresh beans. It's just a reliable, classic way to get food from your yard to your plate.
Okay, but now, let's leave that cozy backyard garden behind. We're going to step into a completely different world, the world of the lab, of the Genebanks scientist. Here, the goal isn't a meal, no way. It's about preserving the very soul of the bean, for all of us, for generations.
The mission here can be boiled down to 2 words: genetic integrity. See, you or I, we probably wouldn't care if our beans cross-pollinated with the ones growing next door. But for a Genebanks scientist, that's a disaster, an absolute catastrophe. Their entire job is to make sure every single bean they grow is a 100% perfect, genetically pure copy of its parent.
And that just shows you how different the environments are. I mean, forget about a patch of dirt in the yard. We are talking about sterile greenhouses, places where every single thing, the soil, the water, even the air is controlled down to the smallest detail, all to stop any kind of contamination, anything that could mess with that perfect genetic code.
So let's just lay it out, side by side. The gardener's goal? Dinner. The scientist's goal? Absolute genetic purity. The gardener plants when it's warm enough. The scientist plants only when the seed stock for one specific type of bean drops below 1,200 seeds. But the biggest, craziest difference is what happens after they pick the beans. The gardener, you stick them in the fridge or maybe you can them. The scientist? Oh man, they start this super intense process of drying, cleaning, checking every seed against the original, and then vacuum packing them to be stored in a vault for a really long time.
Okay, so these 2 worlds sound worlds apart, right? But they're not totally separate, because both the backyard gardener and the high-tech scientist, they are locked in a fight against the exact same enemies. And that fight, well, it builds a pretty surprising bridge between them.
It doesn't matter if you're in a garden in Ohio or a research facility in Colombia, nature does not care. You've got aphids, rust, viruses, beetles. All these pests and diseases are always knocking at the door. But there's one threat, one big one, that every single bean grower fears most.
And you guessed it, it's frost. Beans just hate the cold. They're incredibly sensitive. The second that thermometer dips to 28 degrees Fahrenheit, that's -2 Celsius, it's pretty much game over. One single cold night can completely wipe out an entire crop. Doesn't matter if those beans were for your salad or for a global seed vault. And since they face the same threats, they actually use some of the same solutions. You ever heard of hardening off? If you've started seeds inside on a windowsill, you know exactly what this is. You can't just take a baby plant from its cozy indoor spot and chuck it outside. The shock of the sun and wind would just kill it. So you have to introduce it to the outdoors a little bit at a time. And guess what? Both the everyday gardener and the super careful scientist do this exact same thing to make sure their plants make it.
So this brings up a big question. Why does this whole other world, the scientist's world, even need to exist? Why go to all this insane trouble for a bean? Well, the answer, it actually affects every single one of us.
See, this picture, it's not just a field of beans. You have to think of it like a living library. Every single row is a different accession, That's a unique variety of bean, each one with its own special genetic code. A better way to think about it, this field is basically a backup hard drive for our entire planet's food supply. And that right there, that's the whole point. A gardener grows a bean for dinner tonight. A Genebanks scientist grows thousands of beans to make sure we all have dinner in the future.
So what's the purpose of all this incredibly detailed work? It's about creating a safety net for all of us. By saving thousands and thousands of unique bean types, they're protecting the genetic playbook we need to fight off new diseases, deal with climate change, and even breed stronger plants. This genetic library is what makes sure that beans, a really important food for millions of people, will still be around for a long, long time.
So, the next time you're snapping a green bean for dinner, just stop and take a second look at it. Sure, it came from a garden, but its very existence, its ability to survive, and its future, all of that is thanks to this hidden world of science and incredible dedication. So what will you see? Just a simple vegetable, or the global vault that's protecting its future?